Okay, so for those of you that were not here for the population pyramid assignment, I have attached there are several of you that weren't here today to pick up the assignment, and several of you that picked up the assignment but don't have the instruction. So and for those of you that had the instruction and need a little review, here's what it is, okay? And I'll try to make this short and sweet. It says you can read the instructions. What you're going to do is you're going to go to CI World Factbook, and you're going to find these 5 countries and print off the population pyramid for each of the 5 countries. So let's look at CI World Factbook. You'll click on that. If you go back here, you'll click on this. It'll take you to CI World Factbook. You'll have this select a country to view. And let's go for the one we went over in class was Chad. Okay, you'll click on Chad. It'll give you information about Chad. And in order to find the population pyramids for each country, you'll click under the people and society. Okay, and you'll scroll down and you'll see population pyramid. You'll click on that and you'll see this pyramid. You go over here, you click to print. If you're coming from your computer, it should pop up something like this. Now, somebody had asked, can we take all of the pyramids and put them all on one page and make it small so we're not printing 5 different sheets? That's fine. If I print from my computer, it shows up like this, okay? So it should probably show up something like this where it's half of a page. But if you copy and paste it and save it and put it in a Word document, you can make it smaller and put all 5 of them on the same page. So you can do that or just print them, okay? It doesn't matter to me, all right? Once you've printed them, all right, let me go back to this, okay? Once you've printed them, follow the steps, okay? Print off all 5 pyramids and determine their stage. I want you to write the pyramid stage on your document, okay? On the print off, okay? So if you've printed all 5 of them on 5 separate sheets, then right below the pyramid, say that it's a stage 2, 3, or 4. Please don't say it's a stage 1 because you know that there are no stage 1s, okay? Once you do that, you're going to look at all 5 of them, and you're going to choose 3 of them to do statistics on, okay? So you're going to choose one of the countries that's a stage 2, one of the countries that you determined was a stage 3, and then one of the countries that you determined was a stage 4. So you're only going to be looking up statistics on 3 of the 5 countries. You still need all 5 of the pyramids because you're going to turn all of them in, okay? But you're only looking up statistics for 3 of them, okay? So then it says you will be given 3 blank development sheets. Those of you that were here today, you got those development sheets, all right? Those of you that are not, print off 3 of them and fill out 1 for each of those 3 countries, okay? It says fill in the data information sheets provided by finding the appropriate information for all 3 of the countries. So you're going to go back to CI World Factbook, and what your development blank sheet looks like is this, okay? The first piece says geography. Well, you don't have to, okay, let's close this. If you look at, I'll close this tab. If you look at geography, you're just finding information. Notice that on this sheet, you're not looking at quantifying it, okay? You're just filling in information across here, okay? Once you've done that, here, starting with people, is where you're going to start looking at where does all of this fit, okay? So let's look at population for Chad, all right? So we're still in people and society, so we're gonna look at the population. Well, we know it's a stage 2. If you know anything about that, okay, and you saw the pyramid, you would probably call Chad a stage 2. So you're gonna look at let's see, that we're in geography. Sorry, go back to people and society. Okay, the population is 11 million. You're probably going to put that in. I knew I was going to get lost in all of this. There it is. You need your cheat sheet. This is what I call your cheat sheet, okay? So you look at population, and you would actually put the number, not that it's fast growing. This is, consider this right here, the parameter. If your statistics fall within this range, this is where you would put them on this, okay? So you're going to put the actual number, 11 million, yada, 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 right here in the periphery. Okay, so let's look at age structure. All right, you're going to go back to, and you're going to see, okay, 0 to 14, 44% of their population is under the age of 15. Well, that's pretty high. Okay, so let's look at age structure. They tend to be young, anywhere from 30 to 40% or higher are less than 15 years old. That's what this says. Well, you would put that statistic right there, okay? The only difference is that I don't want just the 0 to 14 percentage, okay? I want you to literally write 0 to 14, 44.2%. You're going to add these three together because you really only want three categories: 0 to 14 percentage, 15 to 64 percentage, which means you're going to have to add these three numbers up to give a total percentage for that age group, 15 to 64, and then 65 plus. Okay, so it would look like 0 to 14. I just put as 0 to 14, and then you would write the percentage, and then you would add up your 15 to 64 and put the oh, for the love of Pete, and put the percentage, and then you would do your 65 plus and put whatever that percentage is. That entire grouping right here, all of this needs to go right here in this block, okay, where my cursor is. You're not going to put anything here because it doesn't fall in that parameter. You're not going to put anything there because it doesn't fall in that parameter. Okay? And you're going to continue to quantify and categorize the statistics as you go through this. Your cheat sheet is what is used. Don't save. Is what you're going to use to determine where those statistics fall. If they have a high birth rate, then you're going to put it here. If they have something between 20 and 30 out of 1,000 birth rate, you're going to put it here. Okay? So you're going to end up with this one statistic in each row. Okay? I hope that makes sense. All right? What you'll find is if you're a stage 2 country, you're going to have most of your statistics fall in this periphery with a couple of outliers on the side. But this is your guide to tell you where you would categorize the information. The only other piece that's different here is when you look down at your economy, okay, it tells you what's your GDP purchasing power, your real growth, your per capita, poverty. You may not have a poverty line, population below poverty line. Not all of the countries have that listed, so you could just put NA. And then your labor force by occupation. You're going to put all of the statistics, okay? You'd put agriculture, industry, services, whatever's listed, all right? So if you look at labor force by, if you have more than 50% of your overall population working in agriculture, that says something about your country, okay? Like for Chad, I believe it's 80% of their population works in agriculture. That's pretty substantial, okay? So that statistic would go here, but you're going to put the 80% agriculture, and I believe it's services and industry combined makes up only 20% of their workforce, okay? So you would put those two statistics in this category. Again, this cheat sheet is for you, is to guide you on where you put those statistics that you find about that particular country. The only difference is that your imports and your exports, okay? Your imports and exports don't have lines, okay? All I want here in your imports and exports is a list of what they are importing and exporting. So you should have a list of, okay, they're importing oil, or they're importing industrial goods, or whatever, or they're exporting oil. A lot of your periphery countries are going to be exporters of natural resources. So you'll probably have a list of those: timber, oil, natural gas, whatever. In the surplus or deficit, that's when you look at your, I'm already longer than I would like to be. But you go back up here, we're still in Chad. You're going to look at your economy. Okay, and you're going to list where did it go? Okay, so you see your export commodities. This means this is what they're exporting in Chad. That's what you would write down for your exports. For your imports, this is what they're importing, things that they are not making themselves. Okay, for that deficit or surplus, you're going to look at the actual number. We lose money on imports because we're having to pay for things. So you're going to take the number in exports, in this case 4.9 billion, and you can estimate, okay, 4.9, rounded down or up, and subtract 3.5 from it to get you a round, easy number, okay? You subtract the imports from exports. You may end up, if you end up with a negative number, then that means you've got a deficit, okay? And that's what you would put here, okay? What's the surplus or deficit in dollars? In Chad's case, it would be 1.4 billion deficit, and that's all you would write here. Okay. Further down, you do telephones, radios, televisions. They're not going to give you a definite number of a lot of this stuff. You're just going to have to, and if you look on the cheat sheet, it doesn't give you much in that regard either. It says few, some, or many. Okay. So you're going to have to take an educated guess there. All right. So that's what you're going to be doing. When you're finished, you put all of your statistics down for Chad. Okay, let's say we're doing Chad. All right. Here in the notes section, I want you to tell me what it would be like to live in that country. I want you to make deductive choices, reasoning choices, drawing conclusions based on the stats that you have, the lack of internet service, whatever. What kind of life is that like? And you can look at it and compare it to what you already know. What life was like in the United States, how developed we are compared to some of the other countries that you're going to be looking at. Okay, Chad, for instance, would be something that you should be able to deduce based on population size and the growth of their country, what their government's going to have to deal with in the coming years. Okay, as far as too many people, or again, 44% of their population is under 15. That's huge. Okay, what are you going to do with all those kids? What's the labor force going to be like? What's the workforce? Are we going to have enough jobs? That's what I want you to write here in your notes section. Okay, you need to tell me overall, after looking at this country is predominantly periphery, whatever. Okay, wherever your statistics fall dominantly, that's what level that country is. Okay, and then in the notes section, I want you to say, this is what this country is like based on the statistics that I found. Okay, that's the biggest pieces of this project. A, find the statistics, put them in the right categories based on your cheat sheet, and then draw conclusions as to what life would be like in this country. Okay, and don't restate the statistics. That's silly. You've just written them down. I don't need that put into words. Okay, I need you to say, okay, based on everything, they have a lack of healthcare, lack of access to education, you name it, okay? Literacy rate, anything like that. Now, if you can't have the literacy rate, some of them don't have the literacy rate listed, okay? That's okay too, right? Most of them should, but some of them don't, all right? But you're just drawing some conclusions as to what life is like in a periphery country or in a semi-periphery country or in a core country, okay? Okay, and I think that's it. That is all due. If you go back and you look at, where is my, whoa, I just shut something down. Oh, if you look at this, it tells you exactly step by step what you should be doing. Using this, gather the data needed to fill out the development worksheet for each country. When you are finished, look over your information and classify each of the 3 countries as periphery, semi-periphery, or core. Okay, so you have to classify them. And then on the summary page of each development sheet, you fill out, write your conclusions as to what kind of development is taking place. Okay, all of that of which I just said. On Monday, what you'll be turning in are the 5 printed out pyramids and the 3 country development. If you've printed each pyramid out on its own page, you should have 8 pieces of paper you're turning in to me on a Monday. Okay? If you put them all on one page, you'd have 4. Okay? As far as how many pieces of paper you would have. All right? Unless you're printing out the country development worksheet on your own and you don't print it front to back, then you're printing out a little bit more. Okay? Please follow the instructions. They are explicit and very specific, and you should not have any confusion after that. If you do, please email me. I'll probably get back to you by Saturday sometime, maybe Sunday. Okay? And good luck.